Hey all, welcome back. We're really making some good progress here on our traditional Andean style sling. In this section, we're going to look at the continuing of the weaving for the pouch and how we can begin tapering it down to exit the weave and go back towards the braided section of the sling. For the final parts of the pouch, I'd like to show you a bit of how I get the structure from a more parallel main part of the pouch and get it tapered down to what will go into the cord. Don't mind Oats over there. Hey bud, over here. Look, say hi. He's milling about, wondering where his mom is. Because he's obsessed with her. Anyways, so what we want to do is we want to bring the pouch together. We're going to do that by adding a little more tension, which is going to bring those strands together like this to give it that shape. And so at the end of it, we'll do the blue for a little bit, add the green, and that'll bring it together. Another thing that you'll notice with this pouch is that some sections are wider than others. Like obviously the orange here in the middle is a longer width there than at the points here. And the blue over here is wider on the edges than it is in the midsection here. So I'm going to show you a bit of how to achieve that as well as bringing the pouch in together. The main thing is as you do your over-under pattern, recall that I had recommended pinching and holding this down on the side so that it does not come inward. We're going to start letting that just pull ever so slightly in because we do want it to now start turning a bit. So we're going to do that. And we're going to beat this down. Whoops, got the wrong one. I just find kind of tapping it with this crochet hook really gets the weft threads down to where I want them. All right. So now when I come in again, I'm going to pull it a little tighter and a little tighter. One thing I want to do to build up this width here is I'm going to do some stacked passes only on the side to kind of create like a triangle shape. The way I'm going to do that is I'm still going to pull in to start steering that edge inward, but I'm only going to go maybe 4 or 5 warp threads over, come back, maybe 3 or come back. Maybe I'll do 6, 4, and 2, just so it's easier to remember. So I'm coming across, I'm pulling that a little tighter. I'm going to do some over 2, 3, 4. Mess that up. Under, over, under, over, under. Under that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this will be the 6th. The middle one. Should have just went to the middle, knowing that I've got 12. Just go to the middle for 6. So again, I'm pulling that with a fair amount inward because I want it to start coming in. So that went over 6. I'm going to go back. I always seem to slow down and get get a little unsure of myself when I'm filming, so I apologize. There we go. And now I don't want this center thread to be pulled over much, so I am going to kind of hold it back a bit and resist that. So that was to go over 6. Now I'm going to do 4. And we can give it a pretty good pulling there. Really want to get right in that space. Knockdown. So there we go. We've got over 4. And I'm going to go back. Not pulling as hard this way. And this may not actually be the formal and best, most accurate, traditional, whatever. I'm pretty new to weaving, so this is just what seems to work for me. And I'm just exploring the process along the way. And I'm sure there's better ways of doing this. I looked up videos on like tapestry weaving is the closest thing I can find to what this kind of filling in bit by bit looks like. So there we go. We did across 6, 4, and then 2, and you can see that it's starting to give a more of a triangular shape. It's filling this in. I'm going to do the same over here, hopefully creating a pretty horizontal shape. And what I can do now, since I've done those passes, is I'm going to do the whole way back across. So I'm going to bring that the whole way. And again, I'm okay with it pulling a little bit because I want that pouch to start coming inward. I'm going to pull a little more than probably I did on the past. And I'm going to beat this down. And you'll see that it's closer to flat, right? One thing, so I did that on the left side. I'm going to do the same thing on the right. I'm going to do 6, 4, 2, and that'll kind of fill this in over here. And it will allow me to go forward kind of in a perpendicular to the warp. And then this curve back here wasn't necessarily intentional, but it was because of the way I was bundling the threads. So we'll start bundling after the next pass. Okay, so I finished building up the other side. As you can see, the blue is now fairly perpendicular to the warp. It's nice, just flat, left to right that I'll be working it. One thing I've noticed is having some difficulty pulling this in at a natural and even rate with the different threads. From the retention cord end, when I'm working it this way and I was widening, that was pretty easy because the way I had positioned the warp threads were diverging. so it kind of wanted to go naturally with that. However, bringing it together tighter, it was really pulling mostly on the outside edges and not as much on the inside. So I've just used some clothespins, and we'll see if this helps. You see how it is if I don't have those. But basically, I'm gonna try and pull the threads in so it has a more natural shape as I do a couple rows. And going back and looking at the blue on this side, which I'm trying to mirror, I had gone over 12 threads for maybe 2/3 of that distance. And then I went down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I started clumping them together, doubling it up for the final bit of blue. So I'll be doing that here in a moment as well. But first, we'll just do one more pass or two with 12 and see if the clothespin trick helps any to keep this together. So it's going to be a little more challenging knowing which threads I should be under or over, but just kind of go slowly and work that yarn needle across. You can always check it when you get to the other side. So I'm going to beat this down just so before I tension it, it's kind of in the right place. But yeah, I want that to start pulling in, so quite a bit more tension than before. You'll notice beating this down also is a little more challenging. Have to use a bit more force. There we go, that's pretty good. I think I'm gonna do maybe 2 more passes of 12, and then I'm gonna start tapering it down to 6, 4, 2, and finally 1. Alright, so I let those clothespins off for the moment just so I can see my warp threads a little bit better. And I'm going to now just bundle 4 yarns threads into each. So this way it'll really start to help pull together the pouch when I start bundling it in groups of 4. You can see I'm going to just go over 4, under 4, over 4. And this is really going to help cinch that together. And if you see over on this side, there's maybe 4 or 5 passes in that grouping. And then what I'll do when I get to the green is continue that for a little bit, keep it tightening. Looks like 6 over and under. Then I go to 4. 4 bundles, which would be 6 threads per bundle, which is a little less, so that would be something like this, if I'm separating these correctly. Then I would bundle it as 6 per, and that would be 4 groups, and then I'll do a bundling of 2, which is kind of what you see on this section here. And then at the very end, I'll wrap it as a bundle of 1. and that's what's going to really get it as close together as possible and set us up for doing that, the release cord side. So I'm going to do a couple passes of 4, and then I'll switch to the green, and or what am I, six groups of threads, and then I'll switch to the green and go from there. Well, you all may have caught on to this if you're following along, but I made a mistake. And I was stopping for a moment to compare and to do a, basically I wanted to cross this over. Let me move the camera. I wanted to fold the pouch over to make sure I was mirroring both sides and the distance that it was coming out to be about the same place. And you'll notice I forgot to put a yellow. So I went from green, blue, yellow, red, yellow, purple with the orange inset. I wanted to do this in reverse. And I was so anxious or worried about explaining the tapering that I forgot I had one more color to do between the red and the blue, which is another band of yellow. I could just continue from here. However, I think I would always look at that piece down the road and be like, why did you not go back and rework it? So I'm going to undo the blue that I've done so far and this tapering effect. But I've now explained to you all who are watching how this tapering would be accomplished. I'm going to go back, rework the yellow, put the blue back in place, begin the tapering again. I do think this clothespin feature works well. And then additionally, to get the grouped threads to sit nicely, I was using this to kind of split the bundle of 4 so they stacked on top of each other, which was letting the weft threads really pack that down nicely, as well as it helped to beat that way. So anyways, continuing to learn many lessons along this journey. I will see you all probably when I get back to the green. So I'm going to do the yellow, the blue, tapered as we've discussed, get into the green section, and then I'll probably show for the green section that last bit. And I guess while I'm sitting here and undoing everything, I'll show you what I've got set up for my my back strap. It's really just, I just clamp the cord to a belt that I've got around my waist. It's a terrible camera angle, sorry. But essentially run the retention cord through a belt, and then I'm just using a clamp there, or you could tie it onto your belt. My waist is too big to pass the retention cord around it, but in backstrap weaving you might get the whole weave project around you. So anyways, that's what I do there. And yeah, this is a lesson learned. Double check your patterns and your colors so you don't have to redo anything. Thanks all.